Every business that exists in the real world has an address. A shop has an address. An office has an address. Even a small kiosk has a location where people can find it. If someone wants to visit you, they need to know where you are. The internet works in a very similar way. Every business that exists online also needs an address. On the internet, that address is called a domain name. A domain name is simply the name people type into their browser to reach you online. For example, yourbusiness.com. It looks simple, but there is actually a lot happening behind the scenes. Every website on the internet runs on servers, and those servers have numerical addresses called IP addresses. They look something like this: 192.168.1.1. Now imagine trying to remember numbers like that for every website you visit. It would be impossible. That's why domain names exist. They translate those complicated server numbers into simple names people can remember. So instead of typing numbers, people type a name, and the internet automatically connects them to the right server. That name becomes your identity online. But here's where many people get confused. A domain name is not the same thing as a website. The domain is the address. The website is what people see when they arrive at that address. Think of it like a house. The domain is the street address. The website is the actual house sitting on that land. Without the address, nobody knows where the house is. And without the house, the address doesn't lead to anything useful. Both work together, but they are not the same thing. Now here's why owning your domain name matters. First, it protects your business name online. When you start a business, your name becomes part of your brand. But if you don't secure your domain name early, someone else could register it. And once that happens, getting it back can be difficult. Sometimes businesses discover that their domain name is already taken and the owner is willing to sell it back, but for a very high price. That's why many companies secure their domain name as early as possible. It's like reserving your space on the internet before someone else takes it. Second, a domain name builds trust. Customers today often search online before they decide to work with a business. They Google your name. They check if you have an official website. They look for signs that the business is legitimate. A domain name helps create that sense of credibility. For example, compare these two email addresses: bestcakes@gmail.com and hello@bestcakes.com. Even if the business behind them is the same, the second one instantly looks more professional. It signals that the business is established and serious. That small difference can change how customers perceive your brand. Third, owning your domain gives your business flexibility. Your domain becomes the central home for everything you build online. Today, it might just point to a simple page with your business information. Tomorrow, you might build a full website. Later, you could add an online store, a blog, a booking system, or even a members platform. All of those things can live under the same domain name. Your domain grows with your business. And the good news is that registering a domain name today is actually very simple. You search for the name you want, check if it's available, and register it through a domain provider. Once it's registered, that domain becomes yours. From there, you can connect it to your website, your professional email, or any other online service your business needs. So whether you're starting a business, building a brand, or launching a project online, owning your domain name is one of the smartest first steps you can take. Because on the internet, visibility is important. But ownership is what gives you real control.